The protests continue in Dallas County. Now opponents of a Civil War monument are marching straight to Selma City Hall demanding action. Live in Selma, WSFA 12 News reporter Samuel King. The meeting got underway about an hour ago. Sam, has the council made any decision?
Valerie, some new developments here. Just in fact, since we went on the air here at 6 o'clock, the supporters of the protesters, the people who were protesting this monument, came out of the meeting, some of them smiling and hugging each other. And that's because the city council, we're told, has voted to put this permit on hold, the construction permit at the site, until the legal question can be sorted out. And that legal question is, who owns the monument on which the Nathan Bedford Forrest monument, the refurbished monument, would sit? There is some dispute here, whether it's the United Daughters of the Confederacy, they say they've owned the land since the 1870s, or the city of Selma. Of course, the land, the monuments, are in the city cemetery. What the opponents of the monument project have been saying is, look, it's the city's land, the city can go ahead and stop this. But the supporters of the monument are saying, look, it's the United Daughters of Confederacy land. They gave the Friends of Forest responsibility to the permission to build the Nathan Bedford Forrest monument there. So the city council, and they were discussing this before I stepped down here, has decided to put the permit on hold, not a complete block, but on hold until that question can be sorted out. Now, earlier today, the protesters marched from the foot of the Edmund Pettus Bridge over to City Hall, chanting as you hear there. They have said that the building of a monument to Nathan Bedford Forrest and the refurbishing of the Confederate Monument at the city cemetery should be stopped. It sends a bad message. Organizers then came here to City Hall delivering a petition from change.org with 325,000 signatures from people who oppose to this monument. Again, they are contending that the monument is on public land and therefore should be stopped.
Does not give them that right. That is still city property. If it was their private property, there would be no need for us to come before the city council because it's their property.
Again, the city council just voting within the past few minutes here to put a temporary hold on this project. Now, the project contractor himself has left the area until this is all sorted out, so the project is on hold anyway. And now the question comes whether the project's people will sue. They were inside this meeting. We will ask them that, and we'll hope to have that answer for you later on tonight, Valerie.
Sam, did any of the supporters of the monument have a chance to speak to the council tonight?
They did not speak to the council at this time, but they did hand out pamphlets supporting their side of the thing, and they chose not to speak to us as well. But they do have some supporters on the city council, and they made their points known as well today. So definitely a lot of discussion going on here, and it's going to continue at this point.
All right, Sam, we look forward to your full report tonight at 10 o'clock. Current and former MPS employees who worked for two schools that closed last year are accused of using the money for parties and home repairs. Tonight, WSFA 12 News reporter Samuel King tells us how thousands of dollars turned up missing and why it still hasn't been paid back. It's a story you'll see only on WSFA 12 News.
MPS administrators apparently had some concerns about what was happening at both Harrison Elementary School and Houston Hill Middle School in the years before the schools closed. MPS requested the state examiners of public accounts look at the financial books at the school, and the examiners found administrators used school money for personal use, spending more than $4,000 at stores like Sam's Club and Lowe's.
It appeared that one of them was redoing their bathroom. There's also the appearance maybe that there was a Cinco de Mayo party going on somewhere. I mean, it was just real interesting setup. I mean, you could look at the Sam's Club receipt and see what I was purchased, and there was, some pretty obvious things that didn't appear to be school-related.
Auditors found another $3,600 in unspecified spending that had nothing to do with the schools. The auditors presented their findings to MPS officials last month. The audit covered the 2010 to 2011 school year, the last year the schools were open.
Everybody was very disgusted and shocked, and we all felt like that was obviously over the top and not something that needs to ever be tolerated.
The employees involved have either been terminated by MPS or transferred to positions with less responsibility. The employees did not show up to a hearing late last month to prove why they shouldn't have to repay the funds.
The people that were responsible will, be asked to pay it back, or there will be, consequences.
We should point out those employees have not faced any sort of charges at this point. The audit did find some other issues with accounting at those schools and some others in the system. MPS says its local school accounting staff provides regular training to school bookkeepers and principals, and they'll continue to monitor all of the schools for compliance with MPS and state standards. Valerie?
Hundreds. I think hundreds, because in order to get federal dollars, you have to have so many kids make a grade, pass.
Dr. Lisa Keith was head of the Social Studies Department at Lee High School. As the school continued to struggle to make adequate yearly progress, Keith says the pressure to improve performance was intense. Teachers were grilled on how they were helping students to pass, and Keith says some school administrators went further.
We were just told that kids that had failed, and this was clear, we had to pass kids that had failed both the first 9 weeks and the second 9 weeks.
But Keith believes someone at the MPS Central Office found out about those grade changes because school administrators later ordered the changes reversed.
It was totally backwards from what was said before, that they didn't say that kind of thing.
In the spring, MPS decided to vacate Lee, meaning all non-tenured teachers were dismissed and most tenured teachers were transferred to other positions in the system, including Lisa Keith. Superintendent Barbara Thompson says the move was due to the school's poor performance and not due to allegations of grade changing.
Let me look at it conversely. If Robert E. Lee was a situation where I was encouraging people to change grades and do all this as was alleged, why on earth would I restructure? You know, I restructured because there were lots of things that we thought we could improve.
Thompson maintains she was not aware of any of these allegations until they were brought to her by the Montgomery Advertiser, whose reporting prompted the MPS investigation.
We don't have a single documented complaint from a staff member at Lee at all, not a single one. That's why I said in the last 2 years, except for people that recently were restructured and transferred, that's when this came out.
This has been going on for 2 years. Why wasn't this reported to officials?
Samuel, this has been reported.
2 separate investigations will now determine whether any grade changing took place, and if so, whether administrators were promptly notified. Samuel King, WSFA 12 News, Montgomery. There aren't many Tuskegee Airmen left, so moments like these are cherished. Flight Officer Robert McDaniel, Captain Claude Platt, Staff Sergeant Homer Hughes, and Lieutenant Calvin Spann arrived in Montgomery on their way back to Tuskegee. They will visit the legendary Moton Field for the first time since the 1940s. They knew they were coming back to Alabama, but didn't know they would be welcomed so warmly.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Dream come true. I didn't expect these people to be here.
You're glad to be back in Alabama?
Yeah, I am. Really am. I'm glad to be back.
Personnel from Maxwell Air Force Base, along with community members, formed a path of honor from the arrival gates upstairs to the baggage claim below.
There to meet these people, for all the hard work and dedication that they put in, especially for us African Americans, is just amazing.
Among those in the crowd, members of Tuskegee University's Air Force ROTC.
Just to know that the Tuskegee Airmen literally pretty much paved the way, and that when I graduate and become a pilot, I'll be known as a Tuskegee Airman because I came from such a prestigious university.
Whole reason I went to Tuskegee University because of the reputation of the Tuskegee Airmen. I'm an aerospace engineer, so I figured why not? It's a complete honor, almost was into tears when I saw them.
Because who knows how much longer we'll get to say thank you and have a chance to reach out and touch history.